the letdown and the way people treat you because you couldn't do it again is ridiculous. So and me paying attention to Teddy and paying attention to all the other producers prior, it drove me to saying like you got to switch, you gotta be, you gotta give yourself a free space so that you can be as creative as you can and not have to deal with what you was already dealing with. So when I came with Escape after Crisscross, the only thing that I had to deal with was the fact that people were saying, Jermaine, you just came with a #1 rap record. You putting out an R&B group, so people had their doubts. But that's as far as it went right there. Um, people didn't. They definitely didn't believe. But I'm not afraid of you not believing in me. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the only thing. Like so when I get a headache, I usually switch and go back and forth. So that's why if you look at my career, it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Because I start getting if I get a brain freeze and I don't feel like I'm moving forward in one area, I just switch my whole shit and start going into the R&B direction or hip hop, whichever way.
We appreciate the inside information. I just have a few more questions. We appreciate everybody's attendance. We've reached thousands of people in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, please ping your friends to this room and get them in here. Let them enjoy the experience as you guys are. You guys have been here with us the whole time. LA the GOAT. Let's talk about your writing process, sir. You hear about artists like Jay-Z and these inspirational artists that's groundbreaking, not writing their lyrics and just coming off the top of their head in the studio. What about your writing process? How long have you been writing? What is that process like? And what do you feel like you can improve on?
Well, I mean, I haven't wrote in I want to say 9 months, since 8 bands. Yeah, so it's been that long. So I don't write either because, I kind of got into the groove of that because I used to go to LA and shout out to YSL Camp, but especially Lil Duke, which is Young Thug's label and his artist. But he kind of took me under his wing, and I used to just go to LA and just record with him and see Young Thug and Chris Brown record and the things they do and how they do it. So it's I do a lot of punching in. So it's just for me when I record and put out music, it's just the vibe. So if I'm in the studio and we got a chill vibe, there's some vibes around hanging out, I'm gonna be more soft spoken and chilling. But if it's me and my dogs and we in there chilling, drinking, smoking, then that's when you get the more aggressive music. It's just the vibe.
Okay, now JD, if you could tell us, you've been so instrumental in a lot of careers, man, and hands-on with a lot of hits. But can we hear some of your top favorite songs that you've been hands-on with and why?
You mean songs that I did?
Yes, sir.
I, I think I'm gonna put this I'm gonna say this Drew Hill remix first, because I feel like when I did the Drew Hill remix, the record was already #1, right? The Sleeping in My Bed original version was already #1. It was a #1 record, and they just wanted to extend the life of the record. They wanted to extend the life and just keep the song around. They didn't know what the remix was gonna be, and most of the time people were doing remixes the way Mariah was doing remixes. But I mean I had started doing this back before, but just to actually redo the whole song, and just do it in a way that made people think it was a completely different record, right? Was me stepping. I'm talking about completely stepping out in the middle of the board, on a ship, and just putting my chest out there, I'm gonna make this shit and do it right. It was a challenge to get it to even get to that space. But that one record, the way that it changed the scope of people listening to that song and the way that it changed. The song, the remix then went number one. I had never seen that happen before ever. Right, the original record was number one. Then the remix came out, and this was before they started counting the records as one. So when the remix came out, it was like another song. You understand what I'm saying? Especially because the music was different. So if you change the music of a song, the way Billboard was posting these records, it would almost go up as another record. Even though it was the same song, it was a remix, it went up as another song. So once it went up as another song, the remix went number one. Now, that to me, that blew me away because I never expected to even see that happen. Right? That was crazy. And the way the song was recorded, the only person that came to the studio the night that we did the remix was Cisco. So something I don't think no one's ever talked about is all the vocals on Sleeping in My Bed remix is Cisco. Every last line.
Yo, that's very, very dope information, sir. Now, I want to ask you a specific question. I want to ask both you guys, for both Jermaine and LA. First, Jermaine Dupri. Mr. Dupri, you have experienced so much. You've been involved so much in hip hop. You've seen the decades, the evolution of hip hop. And, compared to the 90s, then we went to the 2000s, and hip hop has grown and altered a little bit. The South took over. And now we passed 2010 and the social media era. And now that we're in kind of like, I kind of want to say this is like the desperate phase of hip hop, where a lot of artists are doing any and everything possible for notoriety, for fame, for, just to be noticed. They're dissing people. We got artists like 6ix9ine just doing the most. It's a real viral.
Yeah, we don't bring him up, man.
No 6ix9ine.
Yeah, man, because it just leads to other conversations. We don't even want to talk about that.
Yes, sir. No, all due respect to that. So let's keep it about just artists in general going viral now. Instead of being in the booth and in the studio working on the craft, they're at home figuring out how I'm gonna go viral, what I got to do next to be viral. How am I gonna make a name for myself and get followers and likes, versus making art. Now, Mr. Dupri, you didn't see artists from the beginning of this beautiful culture to where we're at today. What is your opinion on how hip hop has got to this point, how it's grown? I would like to know.
Well, honestly, and I think one of the questions that you asked me that I didn't answer about who I would want to work with, and if there's anybody in this era that I want to work with, I came up in a time where Atlanta wasn't cool. Nobody was fucking with Atlanta. Nobody wanted to be from Atlanta. Nobody was trying to come to Atlanta. None of that shit. So the way Atlanta is now, I'm sure people probably can't even understand what I'm saying. Like, nobody was fucking with Atlanta. Just to say I'm from Atlanta sounded crazy, right? So with that being said, I came up with a chip on my shoulder that I didn't want to work with anybody. I came up saying I want to create. And I feel like, answering the second part of your question, I feel like the industry's always been where it is. Nothing that we are doing or anything that people are doing now is any different than what's already been going on. It's just more, it's amplified because of social media, and it's amplified in different ways because of people duplicating it over and over again, right? Like I said, for me, when I first came into this music industry, it was people out here that was doing the clout chasing hip hop and doing things and trying to get people to pay attention to them, right? But I took the dark road and I decided I'm gonna create my own artist. And at a time that I did that, like I said, that's what people were doing. That was the noise, right? That was the noise. So now when I look at it now, it's just the other side has the noise right now. But I feel like it's never been different. It's just what do people want to follow in this era of time. And most of the time, most of the people, they're following what they feel like is helping them get success faster than the work, right? Like what Julian was saying when he's talking about me in Dallas. Um, I grew up trying to mimic Russell Simmons, right? I saw Def Jam. I'm like, shit, I'm so deaf. I can. He got an office. He a black man. He got an office full of employees. Why can't I do that? I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna get a record company. I'm gonna get a building. I don't want no fucking little studio. Like, I wasn't thinking about none of that. I was looking at everything that was huge. Like, Russell Simmons had a whole building full of employees. So what did Jermaine Dupri do? He went and got a whole building and got 30, 40 employees. I was doing the exact same thing. So it's really about what people are paying attention to and how much belief they have in themselves, right? Like I said before, Teddy Riley, he was telling people he had multiple artists, and Herbie Lovebug was showing you he had Kid Play, and so it was a thing to create. That was the thing that was being put in my face, like, you ain't really shit if you're not being creative, if you're not creating something, right? And I think that it's not hard for that to change in this era that we're in right now. It's just not. It's not enough people actually doing that. It's not enough people showing on a day-to-day basis the work ethic that it takes to get to where you want to get to. Everybody want to show you that they on the beach, and niggas want to show you they in the studio. I posted this the other day. I said, well, who actually doing the work? When do we see people on Instagram showing a marketing plan? When do we see people on Instagram inside an actual meeting or showing Zoom calls of them having conversations to try to create something? You don't see none of that shit. You see niggas driving cars, you see niggas on the beach, and you see niggas in the studio. So the work part of this industry, to me, is at an all-time low. But it's not that it's not happening. You have people that are in these offices. That's just not the thing that people are seeing. So when I see it now, I don't really pay too much attention to it, because I feel like we've always had characters in hip hop, and we've always had characters in, when I signed Criss Cross, Tim Dog, I don't know if people in here remember, Tim Dog was a guy that was dissing. He dissed DMX. He was dissing everybody. You know what I mean? He was going crazy. So it's been here. If you're a real hip hop person, you understand that this has been here, but just the what's being shined and what people are paying attention to, that we don't see that. And we need to see that more.
Now, what about you, AP, LA the GOAT? LA, I want to ask you about, this new era of hip hop. I know you're part of the new era, but what is your outlook on what some of these artists are doing for notoriety and fame compared to what you do, and how you differentiate yourself from them?
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I was raised different. I was raised by OGs and players. So, it's going to be different from what they believe in. Like my big homies ain't never told me, oh, post these guns, or we finna post all this money and shit. Nah, that ain't how you move. When you really, so basically I just treat the rap game how I kind of do the streets. I stay to myself and I get my money and I just mind my business, because if not, you gonna be taken as a joke, because it ain't nothing but a circus out there. So you feel me? Like, I ain't mean no disrespect when I had cut y'all about the 6ix9ine shit, but it's like I don't even want to bring it up, because it's like, once you bring it up, it goes on and on and on until that's a topic, and that's how he keeping the notoriety and the views and shit. You gotta just act like shit like that don't exist, because if not, you'll be going through it all day. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just like, nowadays, people think that's the quickest way to blow. Because I got young niggas from my hood, and they like, man, shit, if we get into it, these niggas and kill them, we could put it on a song, and then, but I'm trying to show them, like, that ain't the way you got to do it. You can still be a cool nigga and niggas still respect you. you just gotta have values. You gotta just understand shit more. You gotta think before you do shit. Like, of course, if I'm that nigga, niggas gonna want my spot. So niggas gonna say shit all day. Niggas gonna, you feel me, run their mouth. They gonna at you and all that. But guess what? Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words. So you feel me? It's like, if you ain't physically finna cause no harm, man, I'll let you talk till your lips fall off.
Yeah, as they said, elephants don't swat flies.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. So I want to definitely get a few questions from the people on stage as well. I want to manifest, just to put it out there, I want to manifest that verses, man. I'm looking forward to a Jermaine Dupri verses.
Talk to him.
That'll be pretty interesting. But it'd be pretty cool, man. Just for the culture one time,
Come
on. And LA, congratulations, brother. I commend you for breaking the barriers and getting on the radars of moguls and real energy going on by being persistent with your music, getting on the radar of Mr. Jermaine Dupri, getting signed in a pandemic. Like, y'all ain't even worked in the studio yet. You've been in Zoom calls and in DMs. You done got signed to a major label, working with a legend. Congratulations to all your success so far. I'm wishing you way more success. Your single is on fire. 8 bands, LA the GOAT featuring Rick Ross and Jermaine Dupri. I just wish many blessings on you, sir. And I hope longevity, good health, much success for you, your family, as well as Mr. Dupri and all that he does and all that he's done for people. It's just very commendable. And I salute you both, honestly.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir,
JD,
man.
I love you. JD, I love you, man. You're a legend. You're an icon. You're my hero. I love you, bro.
My
Congratulations
boy,
on everything.
I love you too, my boy. You know that.
Yes, sir. Now, Black Tie in the building. Mr. Dupri is in the building. We have some amazing guests today. We got some people on stage. If y'all got a question or two before we close this thing out and send these two gentlemen off to much more success, feel free. The stage is yours.
I don't have a question, but I have something to reveal about LA. JD, I don't know if you know, but LA has a secret talent. And I think we all discovered it in Tampa a few weeks ago. You know where I'm going with this, right? So JD, we in the club, we're chilling. I'm with Fresh, we're just hanging out, regular shit. So the DJ goes to the bathroom, and me and Fresh turn around, and guess who's behind the turntables DJing for the first time in his life?
Oh my God.
yeah. Now you talking about, oh your God, I rock that motherfucker.
That was my next point. He bodied the shit. JD, I couldn't.
Oh my God! Don't get this dude no more. Don't get a dude more gas, man.
Man, listen, you already know we talked, JD. I'm gonna be an actor, a fucking DJ, an R&B singer, all that, bro.
Yo, man, that shit was crazy.
Yo, Mozzie, what's his DJ name?
Yo, his DJ. I think it just should be DJ LA to go.
Nah,
that's a long.
I need
a long ass name.
LA the DJ.
Nah. Child support chasing LA to go. We gotta have another name for the DJ.
LA the GOAT DJ.
Yeah, we gotta switch it up. DJ Earl or something.
All the rappers want to take our jobs, bro. That shit's crazy.
Nah, man.
Yes, sir. The stage is open for anybody that'd like to ask a question. Maybe DJ Head or anybody on here, feel free. Go ahead.
DJ Head, he's coming for your job, by the way.
Hey,
Jermaine, what up?
Hit me up. I just want to ask a quick question. I am not in the music industry, so this is going to be more of a political question for Jermaine. I just want to ask you, how do you think, I'm more in the political spectrum, so how do you think hip hop has really influenced politics now and getting people involved? We saw what happened in Georgia. That's your place, that's your home. So we saw what happened there, how Stacey Abrams really led a grassroots effort to turn the election around in Atlanta. And I just want to see and just know, like, how do you think we can continue that movement using the entertainment industry?
I think this time, that this period of time that we went through, the 2020 era, I think it made everyone realize that hadn't realized how important the hip hop voice is. Period. I know people. I've heard people think that like the hip hop voice only caters to the hip hop audience, and then those that don't listen to that hip hopper, they don't pay attention to what that person is saying. But I feel like social media and everything amplified that even more, and I feel like people like myself, we took chances to put politics in front of people and in front of audiences with huge numbers, like no other before. Before Stacey Abrams even, in the beginning of Stacey Abrams even running for the governor, I did Social Def 25th anniversary at the arena here in Atlanta, and I had like 20,000 people sold out, right? And before I performed Welcome to Atlanta, I put Stacey Abrams in my show, where I put a video in, where the video came on and it talked to the crowd, and then she came out and she spoke to people. And a lot of people didn't even understand what I was doing when I did that. And I feel like that's we have the reach. We have the reach. People are paying attention to hip hop more. And as long as you have people like myself and people, T.I. and Killer Mike and the people that's out here that really have numbers of people that's gonna pay attention, and you use that, you're gonna continue to see the dominance of what hip hop can do. Just entertainment period for politics.
Thank you for that.
JD, what up? It's De Niro. Hey, one of my favorite joints of yours is Money Ain't a Thing. Is there a story behind that? How that came about?
Well, yeah. Money Ain't a Thing probably would have never gotten. It probably would have been a different song if Hov didn't say in the beginning, "I'm deep in the South." That line, "deep in the South," is what drove me to say I was going to use the money in a thing part. And it's crazy because he was on a plane coming to Atlanta. I had no idea what we was going to do, but I knew he was coming. I started making the beat, but I had no lyrics or nothing in my mind of how the song was going to go. I got in the car and I'm like, I'm going to put my Jay-Z music on, so I'm really, entrenched in this when he get in the car. So I put on Can't Knock the Hustle on the way to the airport. Now, mind you, Tony, Atlanta, I stayed on Old National Highway at the time, so that ain't that far for that song. I got that song playing. It do me enough to get right there where I could pick him up. And as I'm driving, I heard that's the line I kept paying attention to, "deep in the South." I'm like, why would he say that? I know why he said it, but I'm like, damn, okay. So that line drove me to the money in the thing part, and that's how we got there. So once I pulled up to the side, picked him up, he got in the car. I told him right then and there, I like, yo, this the idea I want. But I ain't had that idea 5 minutes before I said that to him.
What car did you pick him up in? What kind of car? What kind of car did you pick him up in?
I had a black Allure. Wait a minute. Yeah. I had a black Continental T. So it was a 2-door Continental T.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might not know what I'm talking about, but those that know.
Yeah. My bad. So we good? Somebody else had a question?
Yeah, I'll ask you a question if it's cool. This is AP down here.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
done.
Let's ask 2 more questions, and then we're going to close this thing out. Go for it, AP.
Okay. Yeah, Jermaine, first off, love having you on the app, man. It's going to be dope. I'm definitely going to, tap in with you and your movement. I just wanted to talk about Allie Willis for a minute. She was my mentor for quite some time, and she had brought you up that, you guys had talked about doing some music and things like that. Obviously, she wrote September by Earth, Wind, and Fire and a bunch of other songs. I just wanted to know, about her legacy, your thoughts and views about who she was as a songwriter.
Well, at the Songwriters Hall of Fame, I met her, right? And I was blown away by the fact that she wrote these songs. And that's what I was telling this story early tonight about the Songwriters Hall of Fame, because this was the first time I was actually in a room with people that I didn't know wrote the songs, right? You always think that, you think you know who wrote these songs, but then you actually find out it's somebody that you never would have even thought wrote the song. And the fact that I was born in September, that's one of my, one of my favorite songs. That's one of my favorite songs by Earth, Wind, and Fire. But the fact that the lyrics, period, and her writing, and I was like, yo, you know what? I want to do a session. I want you to come to Atlanta.
She told me that.
I want to write with you. I want to, and what's crazy is I had an after party, right? I had an after party. I had a lot of bottles. I think I had, Moet had sponsored my after party, and everybody had Magnum. She came. She had Magnum. We had a great time. It blew me away because I didn't get a chance to work with her. I wanted to, because I wanted to just go in the studio. And I wanted to do the music, and I wanted to see what she would write to my music, and I knew it was going to be something special. But that's one of the things I hate that didn't happen. But yeah, she's amazing songwriter.
Yeah, Jermaine, I just want to let you know, I was the last artist to work with her, man. She actually discovered me in a bar in Detroit, and she flew me out to LA. And I ended up writing about 3 songs with her that are unreleased. But man, that was one of my favorite stories of her. She told me a lot of stories about her life, but man, she told me about how she met you and about how excited she was that y'all were going to work. Obviously, rest in peace, man, to Allie Willis.
Totally.
But she was definitely, you were definitely a huge influence, and I just appreciate you, taking this time to answer the question, man. Much love.
Thank you for even telling me that, because like I said, I never would have thought I was an influence to her. She wrote September, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I wrote no song like September. That the staying power of that song is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? So, God rest her soul, and thank you for that story.
Absolutely, man. Much love.
All right, DJ Head. Go for it, DJ Head.
Yo, what up, JD? So I remember when you came to the station out here, and you took the time like you did now to like sit down and powwow. And I remember bringing up to you the fact I'm a LA. Everybody know here on the stage, but I rep LA hard, bro. So I always appreciated. I think I told you this to your face, but I always appreciated you using different tempo in your music. And I have a theory that that's kind of what made you stand out before. But like I was listening the whole time when you said Atlanta, it wasn't really cool to be from Atlanta in the music industry. But I think what made you kind of break through and stand out is the fact that you wasn't afraid to play with tempo, because in New York, with what they were doing with the hit makers, and I mean with the Hitmen and Puff and all them, they was all up tempo. And then out here, we had our shit, but it was still 90 to 100 BPM, 90 to 105, etc. So I have a theory that that's kind of what made your sound stand out. So I kind of want to know if you agree with me, one, and then two, if that was intentional, you playing with tempo.
Nah, what's crazy is that I do pay attention to tempo so much. I mean, LA could probably contest it. We done had a million conversations about 8 bands and why I feel like 8 bands is what it's doing now, and how I feel like it's gonna be even bigger, because male rappers right now are only rapping at like 89 to 92 maybe beats per minute at the most, and if it's not faster, it's definitely slower, right? And then you got all these female rappers like Sweetie and City Girls, and all of them, they got records that's at 100 beats per minute, and they the ones that's getting the most spins in these clubs, right? This is just what I pay attention to. So when you know, if you put out a record that's, you know, as a male in this same space, you actually start covering a space that's missing from a male perspective. And yes, most of the time when I make records, I pay heavy attention to that. You know, I pay close attention to what the DJs are playing and what the DJs are not playing, as well as what's missing. When I put out the Social Death Bass All Stars, I was nervous that none of y'all was gonna fuck with that because the tempo was, you know, 125, 135 beats per minute, and it was just a sound from Atlanta in the South that I felt like I had to do, even if nobody even fucked with it. But people did fuck with it, and you know, I'm thankful. But I was really nervous about that one. But I still was like on the same vibe, but just paying attention to the tempo. So you actually right.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
For sure. Do you mind if I ask a question?
Yeah.
I think JD's limited for time, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Hey JD, I just want to say thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. This Billboard baby. You allowed me to get on your record. You did a so deaf woman cipher.
Yeah.
You put your beat out there. I was the first person to jump on it. You kept your word. You came to New York. You put 4 female artists on. Allowed them to perform at as SOBs. You brought them to the radio station. I got my opportunity to rap, man. I killed the shit. I bodied it. I just want to say thank you for speaking up for, that diversity within women in entertainment and rap music in general. I appreciate you, everything that you're doing from the brat
Thank
to
you.
now, man. Facts, man.
Hey.
Appreciate you, man. Salute.
Thank you.
And real quick, I'm gonna keep it real fast. Yo, JD, this Slick 2-3, man. Just want to let you know, bro. Like, I had the opportunity to work with you with Jagged Edge Project Hope back in the day, through your dad, Michael Malden. And, a lot of people don't realize it, bro, but you are very instrumental in the success of, the culture of Atlanta rising to where it is today. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like you did that, you know what I mean? And you deserve your flowers for that, all day, every day. You feel me? And I'm proud that I was able to work side by side with you on that project, man. I look forward to doing it again one day here too.
Appreciate it. Thank you. You in Tampa now, right?
No, I'm still in Atlanta, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I appreciate everybody being here. Mr. Jermaine Dupri, we love you, man. We appreciate all that you've done for the culture. We appreciate the honorable man you are and for the lives of those you have impacted. Today we celebrate LA the GOAT, the newest addition to So Def. And Mr. Dupri discovered him via social media, which is very groundbreaking. They will be working in the studio for the first time next week. LA, we appreciate you, sir, for being here, young legend. You are inspiration to a lot of artists. There's been thousands of people that came into this room tonight to hear you speak. And we commend you as well. We salute you. Thank you for being here, sir.
Appreciate you, man. It was a pleasure.
Yes, sir, man. And congratulations to your current success and all the success that is coming forward. Thank you. Thank you both. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody that joined the room to hear, hear these conversations. And like I said, this is the work, you know what I mean? Like people, it's really crazy to me because I never thought about becoming legendary or becoming a person that people think about and talk about the way that they do. So I always just focus on work. You know what I mean? When I find an artist, like I said, I'm always just doing what I've always done. So I just want people, hopefully if people are paying attention to this and they thinking about trying to maneuver, see a difference in all of this shit, it might not look like everything that's happening. It might not get a whole bunch of likes. You might not get a whole bunch of people that are pouring behind it and you see this other shit that's going on. But just know it's gonna be somebody that's watching you work. It's gonna be somebody watching you, and this goes for any job that's out there, any type of job. If you show somebody to work, you will definitely be compensated in some kind of way.
We thank you for your time, sir. We thank you for your presence, LA the GOAT. Much blessings to you, sir, and we wish you the best. We know it's coming. We're going to go ahead and end this room very shortly. I go by the rundown. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. What a successful night it was. The legend himself, Mr. Jermaine Dupri, the young legend, LA the GOAT. We're going to end this room, but before we do, we're going to play 8 bands. LA the GOAT featuring Rick Ross and Jermaine Dupri.